Oh, hey, Dr. Amy here. Sipping on my coffee. I think I'm under the right account. If not, I'm gonna have to swap it over. I did not check, however. Okay, so today, well, number one, update this week. Finished my 8-week program of what they call, or what I've went through is called Aerobic Bodybuilder. Super cool, focused on running. I feel like I can run better. I hate running, but sometimes you have to do the things that you hate. But I'm better at running now. So, let me see. Been getting a little bit of elbow pain. I haven't put myself first, so I did not dry needle my elbows last weekend. I had to do a lot of adulting and chores around the house, so I didn't get to that. Today's training session was awesome. So at my CrossFit gym, we had a partner workout outside. So I'm at my athlete's garage gym right now, and each of us had to do 6 full rounds. It was 5 hand release push-ups, 7 devil presses with dumbbells in each hand, 19 dumbbell front squats, and 48 double unders. Sorry about that. Felt pretty good. I'm not very well at double unders, but by the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, they were all unbroken. Yay. So it takes me a while to warm up. However, stemming off of last weekend, I demoed some movements regarding the landmine press in order to help navigate around shoulder pain. And I actually received a question or a request to kind of go through my, like, what is my go-to stretching routine or mobility routine for a general workout, whether it's CrossFit related, whether it's getting ready to perhaps lift some weights in the gym, or more conditioning type pace, where you have an hour block of training to do and to better yourself for longevity. So we're going to go through that routine today. Something that I've been a little bit exposed to via some videos is called functional range conditioning. Now, I haven't been consistent about this, but I've kind of taken a little bit of movements and developed my own pattern of stretching. So you'll see I'll do a lot of what they call rotations. They're called CARS, C-A-R-S. It's called, that stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. It's just a fancy term to, can I take my joints through a full range of motion? Which then in turn is going to improve joint health, as well as help you as an individual determine what areas or joints you might need to work on, or perhaps go see a physical therapist about. Because a healthy joint should have the available full range of motion. So i.e. the shoulders, very, very mobile. Some people get stuck in these positions because they don't have the healthy range of motion in order to perform these controlled articular rotations, and then you throw them into a workout or like a CrossFit workout, and then you expect them to do kipping pull-ups with heavy thrusters, and they're just in a poor position. So again, stemming off of foundation, you have to have a solid foundation in order to change that. We don't want to start filling the cracks, right? So we have to kind of start with the basics. So can you attain full range of motion? I don't have full range of motion. So you'll notice as we go through a routine, so a lot of you might, if there's a lot of people out there, when I re-upload this to YouTube and everything, and it's on the Instagram page, kind of watch me go through the routine, and then you can save this for later. Maybe this is something that you might do. But as a disclosure, you need to see your physical therapist first to see if this routine is appropriate for you. It's appropriate for me. Sometimes I give little snippets to my patients regarding this, but we're gonna go and start from the head down all the way down to our feet. And literally it should only take maybe like 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes max. So I'm gonna put a timer on my watch, And I'm just gonna kind of go through the routine. You guys can drop some comments, and then the goal of this is to attain as much or as full range of motion in a controlled circular or controlled range of motion manner. And then you'll kind of take a mental note where you feel restricted, and perhaps you might have pain into that particular range of motion. And maybe that might be an area where when you're working out, that's kind of where you feel the pain. So you need to get properly assessed by a healthcare professional. So a physical therapist is definitely, you know, I'm going to be biased, is definitely the way to go, because we are experts in the musculoskeletal and nervous system. So you'll see me, and pay attention to my positions, pay attention to my feet, where I am positioned, pay attention to my pelvis as I move my pelvis through range of motions. As well as my wrist, my hands, all of that, okay? So, but first, a sip of coffee. So, as you guys, if you watch previous videos, so today's sip of coffee is from Mr. Coffee again. It's a mixture of medium roast as well as Starbucks blonde. That's what my master's athlete likes. And I drink the coffee black. So I only have a quarter left, and it's nice and cooled down because I just finished my workout. So, I'm going to go through my little stretch routine, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have any comments or anything, or if you want to see something perhaps next weekend, I'm not sure about next weekend because we have a charity event called AMRAP for Autism, so I'll be at that at our gym outside. So, but we're going to start from the head and work our way down. So you can definitely continue to watch. Drop any comments that you may feel. Ooh, that was my knee. I got the fan on me, so sorry if it's hard to hear. All right, so I'm going to start with circular motions with my neck. I usually go 3 reps on each side. I hear some clicks and pops. I'm a little dizzy. So once I get back to the center, I gotta find my balance. Woo. And then I go through some extension. So I make a double chin, I look over, and then I rotate. And then I'll kind of flex down. Double chin, look up. You can see me from the side on that. I'll do my last rep from the side. And then from here, I'm going to start at my shoulders just a little bit. Trying to get as much range as I can. I'll do 3 reverse. Trying to keep my shoulders square. Switch to the other side. I'm definitely more restricted here. I feel it. And then I'm just going to kind of come down onto my ankles and just reverse it on the other side. You can see me there, but I'll face forward so you can see any restrictions. Going forward is much harder. This is actually what I did every morning for my Miami workouts when I was at Wadapalooza. So then I'm going to come to tall kneeling. Arms are going to be out. One palm is up. The other one's going to be down. So I'm going to try to rotate as much as I can the arm within the shoulder joint. Again, 3. Why'd I choose 3? I just chose it. Next up, some internal rotation and external rotation. So I'll take the arms, one behind the head, one behind the back, and then I'm going to kind of windmill in opposite that. That's 1 rep. I'll show you from the back. And then I'll show you from the side. So I'm trying to stay in this plane of motion. I'm not here, I'm not way back here. So now I'm going to try to what we call segmentally flex each vertebrae or spine. So I'm going to start from the neck down and go into child's pose. Then I go into extension on the way back. So this kind of works the wrists a little bit too. Then I'll take one hand, palm down, or back of the hand down, palm up. Both of my fingers are facing me. I'm just gonna rock back. So I get some good extension into my wrist with my watch on. And then I'm gonna get into a little bit of overpressure into the hand that's forward, the hand that I'm wiggling. I'll kind of rock back 3 times there, and then I'll switch. So I'm trying to stay in a particular range of motion, or plane of motion, I should say. So envision your hands on railroad tracks. You don't want to be kind of like out here. You're not going to get the stretch or the motion that you need. And then sometimes I'll just kind of take my hand through range of motion for the elbow, just to give myself some overpressure. Pressure on, pressure off. I'm going to sneak in some press-ups or some Sphinx Pose. We'll do Sphinx Pose first. I'll kind of just push my chest up, exhale, back down. So you can see I'm gradually working from the head down. Now, since I'm already down here, I'm just going to finish a little bit more with my shoulder, so I'm just going to kind of thread the needle a little bit. And just kind of find those angles that are a little Thread the needle the other way. This kind of gets a little back stretch for me. Low back. I might sneak in some cat camel so you can see me from the side. My low back is really tight. Alright, hips. Kind of get into this lizard. And I like adding the elbow touch, rotate. 3 of those a little bit. And then I'm going to switch to the other side. A lot of people have difficulty with this. It's definitely a good spine twist. Okay, I'm going to keep that leg there, and I'm going to rotate my body around my hip. So, I'm going to come here, and then get into this long position. You can kind of see me from the side. And then sometimes I'll just kind of shimmy over, kind of maybe work each range like this. But for video purpose, I'm going to repeat that same windmill or lizard on the left leg. And I'll kind of do an elbow, inside the arm elbow touch, windmill. Every time I do a rep, I'm trying to increase range of motion. So further, further, further. Lock it down on the other side, rotate the other way. Then I get into that hip rotation. So, leg's gonna stay stuck there, and I'm gonna rotate my body around my leg. Get some booty stretch. That was my knee. Then I'll kind of be sideways and kind of get into some lunges as I see fit. And I might do like a low lunge crossover. So we're getting into the hips a little bit now. You can see me from the side. Like an angle. Watch my chest. I'm not going to always be face down here. I got to kind of be up a little bit too. I got to get a little bit uncomfortable. So then I'll go into standing split, and I'll kind of shimmy my hips back and forth. So watch. Kind of drive this hip pocket down and switch to the other side. Drive that hip pocket down the other way. Might bend the knees, do the same thing. I'm going to go back into Sphinx again just because I want to. So, Sphinx. I'm just kind of feeling what my body is responding to. I feel getting more loose, per se. Now I'm going to go on my knees. This might bring you back to your elementary school days. Don't sit like a W. Well, guess what? We're going to sit like a W. So watch my feet. So we're going to sit like a W, like this. Trying to stay upright, tall. And then I'm going to tuck my toes. Same thing. And I'm just going to alternate that, tucking the toe. So this is a little bit of like a knee range of motion. Okay, and then from here I get into what I call cheerleaders. So this will probably take you about 15-20 minutes to do. So one knee's going down, the other one's out. Remember senior picture cheerleader pose? I was never a cheerleader. So I like to rotate my body around my legs. My goal is to try to keep my legs touching the floor the whole time. So this leg here, that the knee is down, you're gonna probably feel some pinchiness through here. That is okay, because it's only temporary. So kind of adjust your leg where you feel comfortable. So again, rotations. So I'm gonna rotate clockwise, then counterclockwise 3 times. And then I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to undo it. Then I'm going to shimmy over to try to rotate onto my hips, right? So I don't use my arms. That's a little core challenge for you. So again, you can see me at a little bit different angle. Ooh, it's hard on the ankle bone there. There we go, I need some padding. Repeat on the other side. Trying to keep my legs touching. And then reverse. And then I'm just going to kind of do what I feel. I guess they might call that windshield wiper over. I don't know. And then just kind of stand up, getting the hips a little moved, you know, getting that blood flow back. I'm going to do 2 or 3 on each side. Now, ankles. So I'm going to go back to sitting on the ankles a little bit. Toes pointed back. Kind of shimmy a little bit side to side. You might need some padding under those ankles. I got really skinny ankles. It hurts when I'm on concrete. Don't do that. And then tuck the toes. I just like to shimmy back. I'm getting a little bit of toe stretch. My big toe is tucked and it's stretching backwards. We don't really get a lot of that. We get a lot of toe, what I call extension, when we run. And I'm just going to kind of switch back and forth to that. Okay. So I like to kind of sit almost in this position here, focusing on this front foot. I'm just going to kind of give myself some pressure forward, move my knee around, trying to keep my foot flat on the ground. And then I'm going to switch to the other side. Trying to not use my hands for support. Can you maneuver on the floor, on the ground, without using your hands? So it's a good challenge. Moving my knee back and forth, just kind of getting into these awkward positions that like, oh my gosh, maybe I need to kind of just focus a little more on that range. My back foot, I like to just kind of keep that flat. And I might hang out here a little bit. Put my body weight over my leg. Feel that good stretch on the back of the ankle. And then also, I can add a little bit of like a hip stretch, hip opener too. And then I'm just going to repeat this on this other side. I think I only did 2, but that's okay. I'm feeling pretty good, so. Then I'm going to get into what they call this baseball catcher's position. I don't have really good ankle mobility, so, or range of motion. So I'm okay with baseball, and I'm just going to do some rotation. I'm going to lock it down on this side, and I'm going to rotate up towards the sky, and I'm going to alternate. My eyes are going to follow first. And then I'm going to keep my eyes focused on a target. Last thing, while we're on the ground, I'm going to actually get into some press-ups. It's almost like an up dog in yoga, but everything from my waist down is loosey-goosey. So think of this as a chest exercise. Pressure on, pressure off. You should do about 5 to 10. Sometimes I'll hang out here and then I'll look over my shoulder and I get a little bit different stretch into my low back. It's very strange, but that's your nervous system stretching. You might feel a little bit of pressure in the low back, that's okay. And then last thing, I'm going to end with the ankles. Probably one of my favorites, I don't know, it just feels good. Rotations. It's better with a shoe on or your foot is on a soft surface. I wouldn't do this on a hard surface, it just hurts. I got bony feet, so all I'm going to do is stand up. One foot, I'm just going to kind of rotate as much as I can. And then counter rotate. Yeah, I'm going to get some knee and hip, that's okay. And then I'll kind of do the same thing on the other side. It's better with shoes. I feel like the shoe can kind of block the foot a little bit better. Kind of hurts the toes, so be mindful, do this in shoes first. And then last thing, throw in a little bit of yoga. I don't know this, it's bend forward, then tabletop. I don't know what it's called. Sorry, yogis out there. But I'll just kind of end with, you know, maybe some coming up to tabletop, down, and then yoga up into extension. And then you can see me from the side. Last thing, standing extension. So I'll put my hands on the hips, and I'm going to do 5 of these. I'm going to provide some pressure through my hips to glide them forward. So it's like a fulcrum back here. Pressure on, pressure off. All right, ooh, I feel good. I'm glad I did that, especially after working out. So, the person who dropped that question last weekend, thank you for that. I needed that. Maybe this will keep me accountable to actually stretch. Now, listen to your PT. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, definitely drop some comments or anything. I'll probably still continue on the topic of shoulder pain and how I navigate my training within my shoulder pain. I have a little assessment thing that I went through this past week that I think will be advantageous in order to decipher some instability into your shoulder. So this is a little test that you can test on yourself. Yeah, so that's today's routine. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate everybody. And, you know, if you need a physical therapist or need to be guided to a physical therapist, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, Fortress Physical Therapy. Again, I'm Dr. Amy. So hopefully you guys have a good Saturday, and I'll keep you posted about next weekend. But cheers. See you guys later.